You guys know about all of those Switch eShop games that come out the gates with that fantastic first look trailer. It's got some interesting idea or concept, something big and bold, and you're just rubbing your hands together waiting for the release date because it looks like so much fun. And then it drops and it's completely underwhelming. They weren't able to convert and convey the ideas of the trailer into actual gameplay mechanics. The polish just isn't there. There's so many of these scenarios across the last 3 years of Switch. And then another category of games that come out and they've got a decent core idea, a foundation. You can see the finish line off in the distance, but they don't have the time, the money, the resources to bring it all together, to make it happen. Well, thankfully, today we're talking about a game that fits into neither of those categories because they are bringing the blood, the sweat, the tears, and one big list of patch notes to Hypercharge Unboxed, helping make this game what it was always meant to be. What's going on, everybody? It's Active Switch Force. Big thanks to the folks from Hypercharge Unboxed for sponsoring this video. They said, hey, Zach, we've been working on our game. We know you like Toy Story. We know you like FPS. We know that the game wasn't all it could be at launch. But here we've got a new build, we've got new footage, and we've got a giant list of notes on what we've been working on. And I said, okay, I'll check it out. And I said, dude, you guys have done it. So we're here talking about the game, which came out to pretty solid reviews, honestly. It's got a 74 on Metacritic because it does have gorgeous visuals, and it's got a great core concept. But you guys know over the last few years, we've covered games that have great core concepts, and they just can't get any further. So I'm so glad to see that they've been able to add so much here in this big update that you can grab now on Nintendo Switch. It is a bolder, bigger vision of the original game. And I'll put a link to the game in the description down below if you want to check it out for yourselves. Honestly, guys, if they would have brought this to me and I didn't feel like it made a substantial leap for the title, I would have said no thanks. I would not have been wasting your time with this video. But they've made major improvements on the low level, the mid level, and the high level. We're talking balance changes, we're talking mechanics upgrades, and we're talking new modes, new unlocks. So we'll get into more of the details of the patch notes in a little bit. But first off, if you don't know Hypercharge Unboxed, well, you probably got a good grasp of it based on the footage you're seeing. This really is Toy Story plus FPS plus tower defense, and I think it looks beautiful. So even with some of its shortcomings, that's why it garnered pretty good review scores out the gate. It looks so good and it runs so well. It's impressive for a small team like this to achieve the polish of the controls and the performance that they have. Because look, you got a freaking amazing world of backyards, of toy stores, of bedrooms. There's a freaking Cozy Coupe. As soon as I saw the Cozy Coupe, I was like, dude, that was my favorite mode of transportation when I was 2 years old. I'm in on this. And I just love that they have this mentality of everything being bite-sized, but still really strong in terms of the mechanics. So you are a little toy soldier and you get to customize your head and your body, and you get to build your gun as you go. The upgrades, you literally attach them on, and it's got great gyro like I love in Splatoon. It's a slight gyro. There's a nuance to the gyro, so you're not just flying all over the screen. It's like that slight adjustment gyro, which I really appreciate. It just works really well in both handheld and docked mode. And the main focus is the wave-based tower defense, where different toys are coming to take down your wares and you got to ward them off. There's also PvP multiplayer, which I like a little bit less, but it's still good if you want to move into the competitive space instead of the cooperative space. And they throw some unique ideas in there, like a slot machine where you can spend in-game currency that you could use on defenses, but now you can gamble it away to get even better defenses. It's kind of a cool system. And so with this patch, they've taken their core idea and really built upon it. One of the main things that was missing when I first played the game and said, how could you not have this, is a tutorial. Because there are some kind of new ideas here and some trickier, more complex concepts, and they didn't really explain them. But now they have a dedicated tutorial, and it goes through and explains the basics of the game. It gives you an environment to test out the weapons, try shooting the other toys. Thank goodness. They've also added some more modes. There's some more simplistic modes if you want to just mess around with a single Joy-Con, some offline, local, sort of party game type modes. Tank Battle is my favorite. There's also Spinner Arena, and these are pretty neat just to, again, build out this game, flesh it out. But where the real, I think, meat and potatoes of this update lies is in all of the balance and upgrades they've made. We're talking performance, we're talking visuals, we're talking mechanics, we're talking unlocks and stats. So they have added new character classes, new heads, new skins. They've made the unlocks more streamlined. You now can find secret bobbleheads in the levels to unlock new heads. They have stat pages that show your completion progression throughout the game. They show how many enemies of different types you've killed. They show your work towards different milestones. It's a lot better. There are stat-based unlocks now. So if you, say, kill the T-Rex 10 times, you get to unlock a new head. It just makes more sense. It's like they went back and said, oh, we've been so just immersed in development that we missed this thing and we missed that thing, and now it's all there. This patch notes list is huge. It is massive. I'm not going to go through everything, but they have added new gyro options. Now there's more sensitivity control with the gyros, and one of the most important mechanical tweaks is that they've upgraded the vaulting mechanic. You know, when you're going and mantling over the edge, previously it felt like sometimes it would work and the other half of the times it wouldn't, which really just wasn't acceptable, especially as you're climbing these very vertical spaces because you're a tiny toy and you're trying to work your way up shelves and boxes and board games, and it sucked when you would bounce off them and all of a sudden go launching yourself down to the floor below. Well, now they have really worked upon that and completely overhauled the vaulting system so that it is much, much, much more reliable. They've made little tweaks as well, like upgrading the text readability, making the loading screen more appealing, giving you a little coin animation so you're not just sitting there staring at the same static screen. There's more controller schemes if you want to mess with the buttons. They've added grenade jumping. They fixed like some of the low quality customization screens, some of the menus that needed work. They really went and overhauled and got to do a second glance at everything, a second and third like look over and say, hey, what would we do better? And I feel like so few games get the opportunity to have that happen. It's quite impressive that they were able to get it done by sheer dedication and discipline and desire. So now we have a title that feels more fleshed out, we have a title that feels more fun, and we have a title that doesn't just have really pretty graphics and a really great idea, but now has the gameplay and the tutorial to back it up. So you're not going to jump in and feel like this is an early access game. You're going to jump in and feel like, okay, here is the well-rounded, fully realized product. And at the end of the day, all of that is great and sounds good as a bullet point or a list on the back of the box, but if the game isn't fun, then who cares? And luckily, both before and after the patch, this is a fun game. There aren't a ton of FPS titles on Switch, and there are even fewer that control really well, and even less that are able to incorporate traditional joystick aiming with gyro in a way that feels natural. And it's, again, super impressive that a small developer was able to pull that off. Plus, as a massive fan of Pixar and Toy Story, I just love this idea. In the tutorial, you've already seen it, but in the tutorial, you step out of your toy box. Feel like freaking Buzz Lightyear. Star Command has been activated, and we are ready to leap to infinity and beyond. And the good news is they are going to try and take this game beyond again and again. They're looking to add more maps, they're looking to add more single player, they're looking to add more modes, more enemies, more weapons, and everything will be free. So I'm overall incredibly impressed with the package they have presented here, and I just love the story of a small developer and a game getting the chance to be what it can be. They unboxed this the first time and they said, okay, Hypercharge needs a little more Hypercharge, and then they brought it to the table and they plan to continue to do that. So 3 cheers for these guys, 3 cheers for what they've been able to accomplish, and 3 cheers for the game. If you're looking for something that is fun, a little bit quirky, a little bit goofy, and you like more of a cooperative edge as compared to a competitive, but still maybe want to roll the dice in competitive, this is a really solid pick. It has been a nice surprise in a genre that does not get a lot of love on Switch, and it gets my thumbs up and my recommendation. After this patch hits, it is a much better package and one that I feel confident recommending. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching. You want to check out the game? I put a link in the description down below. If you have any titles that you know that deserve a new update or you really wish would come together in this way, let me know. I'd love to check out and see if they've been able to reach their finish line, because as far as I'm aware, this is a pretty rare situation. Anyhow, everybody, have a fantastic day. Be good to yourself and others out there. Switch Force out.